It's not our government. It's got an American flag on it. It tells you it's protecting you all day. The banks know that they've created 1.5 quadrillion in derivatives. They believe they're going to be able to bankrupt it, have us take on their debt, and tell us it's our fault and run our lives and arrest whoever they want. It's all getting ready to fully unravel and implode. The euro's going to go down, and when it goes down, folks, get ready because the dominoes, just got chills, start heading towards us. And they think, the military-industrial complex run by foreign banks, thinks it's going to use the crisis it's created to pose as the savior and reorganize this country. And they're going to shut down talk radio. They're going to shut down freedom on the web. It's already starting. And they're going to try to come set people up. You need to understand this. And if you go along with it, and if you believe anything that comes out of this so-called government, you are insane. And if you throw in your lot with these people, it's over. If you think, oh, I'll just go along with it, I'll be all right. It's over. And they are fully converting right now the majority of contracts for domestic operations with mercenaries against the American people. Just as the John Warner Defense Authorization Act of 2007 says, that they're in the preparatory phase. The preparatory phase to take over the governorships, the legislatures. It talks about insurrection by legislatures against the federal government. The federal government's gone. Obama says he takes orders from the UN. The country is gone. A little over a year ago, I began to do a lot of research. And free. All right, we are back live. Let me just continue here with the news before I get into the latest on Bilderberg, what our moles have discovered. It's all up at Infowars.com and Prisonplanet.com. Here's ABC News. Former FBI bomb investigator arrested on charges of child pornography. Oh, they claim that he'd looked at some images, and guess who he is? He's the head of their bomb forensics department until he retired to work as a private contractor. He was the head guy over Oklahoma City in that cover-up and 9/11. And see how they reward you. The FBI is busting them and says, we don't allow anybody, even our people, to do this. Really, you don't? Show them the headline, please. Every few weeks, I read about different federal agencies where thousands of their employees download it and trade it and share it. Yeah, that's the article about the 25-year veteran of the FBI. It's the Guardian article you have up right there about the Pentagon. In fact, I'll just show you the article right here. Pentagon workers found to have downloaded child pornography. Dozens of staff and contractors with high-level security clearances put on risk of blackmail by their sex crimes. That's 2010, and actually the article that Watson's going to have out shows the Washington Post saying 4,000 of them in just one sweep had been trading and had it on their computers. Do you really believe all of them were doing that? I bet you none of them were. This is how they blackmail people that have been involved in corruption. In the trillions that have been stolen in the last decade out of the Pentagon, trillions are missing. You can type that in. 2.1 trillion missing. That was in the Associated Press, September 10th, 2001, the day before, and Rumsfeld had to admit it from a congressional investigation. 2 trillion plus missing under Bill Clinton. And the thing they use that destroys anybody, because it puts such a cloud over them, is this child porn situation. And so we're going to be going over all of that. Will you guys please print me, because I thought I had it in my stack. Will you please print me? Just type in Pentagon child porn computers, and you'll get Washington Post, Associated Press, Reuters. I'd like to add that to my stack, please. Of course, don't forget that we have the federal government taking everyone's blood at birth in the last 40 years. It's been going on Since 1972, it's a worldwide program everywhere the globalists control. It's only a handful of countries they don't control because they will economically destroy you or foment revolutions inside of you or civil wars. DHS considers collecting DNA from kids, DEA and U.S. Marshals already do, outside the system without warrants. And again, it's already going on. This is the garbage that we're dealing with as a society. And after our guest joins us, the whistleblower on mercenary contractors revolting against the idea of fighting wars with the American people. That is coming up after this quick break and the next long segment coming up. And then Bilderberg scheme to save the euro. Evidence TSA is a mindless machine. Henry Kissinger gets pat down. That's a Kurt Nimmo article. I think it may have been staged. They do that with Rumsfeld and people to see everybody gets corrupt, including the Hollywood stars. Laura Ingraham describes heartbreaking TSA pat down of double amputee veteran. Well, they're the big enemy. You bet when they find out their legs got blown off for heroin. Pentagon researching narrative networks as a way to hijack the brain with false stories and brainwash the American people. They admit that. Pentagon working against you. Of course, it's a foreign system. It's got soon to be pure mercenary mixed with foreign troops. We'll be right back.
We're on the march. The empire's on.
The Washington Post from July 24, 2010. Pentagon claims via the Customs Enforcement that 5,000 people in the Pentagon and connected to the Pentagon were downloading child porn. I don't believe that for a single solitary second. And here's the latest report. FBI, former FBI bomb investigator. He was the head of their forensics bomb system. He did the cover-up of Oklahoma City and 9/11. We're going to get to that coming up in the next hour. I mean, this guy is a who's who. Now working as a private contractor with his own company, and they claim he was exchanging child porn. Ladies and gentlemen, even if he was, DynCorp Halliburton have been caught running actual kidnapped children, source Chicago Tribune, Associated Press. Don't believe me? I have congressional hearings, video clips. I have Watson doing an article right now. In fact, guys, check. He said it should be ready about now at Infowars.com. If not, it'll be ready in a few minutes. I'm going to cover it next hour. He's got a big article going, really? You've got actual contractors in the UN in snuff films of little kids, and they have diplomatic immunity and don't get in trouble. You have government involved in this at every level, CPS involved, and then the head guy who was there covering up the Oklahoma City bombs inside the building. You've had all the witnesses, the local police on all of them, and the guy that was involved in the cover-up of what really happened with the towers. The head guy they put in there over and over again to whitewash, he gets caught with child porn. And he, by the way, he's pleading not guilty. Ladies and gentlemen, they can break into your email and send emails back and forth and say you did it. You know, that's why I don't have email. Everybody asks, oh, what's your email? I don't have it. Don't even know how to use it. I hate it. I use text messages and things. It doesn't matter. We use IMs. We've had people breaking into our Yahoo IM and spoofing it. We're going to go to our guests in a moment. Rob Jacobson has people posing as Burmis, asking him if he wants to buy drugs, saying they're coming to town and that Burmis is coming to town and that he wants to buy drugs as we usually do. And then he calls Burmis up and it's not Burmis. I mean, he knew immediately. We don't buy drugs. We have the feds in our Yahoo Instant Messenger because they know we're using that to send news links to each other. You know, my IT guy's like, well, I got 5 of them. He's like, that's not secure. I'm like, secure? I'm sending them Washington Post and Associated Press links. So we can just, you know, I can send it to everybody on the list. Hey, look at this article. Boom. Message everybody. But in a way, I guess there is nothing secure. I mean, next week, are they going to go in there and, you know, say that we're selling heroin or something? And then, oh, Alex Jones got busted. Yeah, it's hard to believe, dealing heroin. If anything like that ever happens, if they say we're downloading pirated software, not happening. We buy all our software. I hear those tattletale commercials saying tattle on your employer. I've even had employees go, oh, I brought in my own software and put it on my computer. I thought that'd save me money. I go, no, buy it. Oh, but my computer's even broken. I'm allowed to put, no, we're going to buy the software. We pay extra taxes to the private Federal Reserve. I know it's all a fraud. We pay. I tell the CPA extra, because when they set us up, I'm going to 100% know it's a pure setup. You understand that? And I don't say when, I say if. They've already tried so many times, and we're getting more and more effective. But I'm on God's side. I love God. I'm standing up for the innocents. I believe in the truth and justice, and I stand against these people because the message has gone out. Even if they destroy my name, whatever the case is, shut me up, kill me, I win because I stood up for humanity just like my ancestors did. And I'm not a slave and a coward and a sellout like them. And that's what matters, is what I do while I'm alive. That I know I'm good, and God knows I'm good in my heart. I'm not perfect. I'm a worldly person. I'm aggressive, I'm mean, all those things. But I care about the innocents. So again, we're going to be getting into this whole report, how they're setting people up. And that is, there's another FBI agent missing right now. This is so dangerous. This story, coming up later, is on the Drudge Report, drudgereport.com. Talking surveillance cameras coming to U.S. streets, an Infowars.com story. And they've announced that, yes, all over England they have them. Now they're coming here. You pay for it. Where every street light has a hidden microphone that listens to you at hundreds of yards. It's called a shotgun mic. And they're going to hack in and track your cell phone traffic. That's available in the package. And they're going to shout orders at you so the bureaucrats can sit up in their little nest and boss you around and tell you not to do this and tell you not to do that, just to get the general public acclimatized to living in a Soviet society. Unbelievable. Talking surveillance cameras coming to U.S. streets and telestreets, the same ones that also listen to you covertly. They also have announced they're putting in fake little limbs and things on trees with unlimited money, not just the drones, with microphones and cameras watching you in the park. And again, every time there's a crime, it can't solve anything, or they never even tell you about it. It's about letting you know foreign banks run America, and we're surveilling you, and there's nothing you can do. Resistance is futile. Well, that's a fraud. Now, this next news is really big. It's not news that the big defense contractors have been training for a long time and the big mercenary firms to take on the American people. It's not news that the guns were confiscated in Katrina and the high and dry safe areas and aid was not rendered. All the guns will be taken. No one will be allowed to be armed in the city. Remember that quote by the police chief? While the other police were busy robbing Walmart and local banks. That's what you can expect during any type of collapse. With the EU starting to go down by design, the next will be the United States, all by design. The very banks that have engineered all this will pose as the saviors. Important to understand that. We know about the John Warren Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA. The CIA director said, yeah, we're watching you domestically, no more warrants. All the major appliances you pay for now have spy tech, microphones, cameras built into them, from clock radios to computers to cell phones. It's just all in your face. TSA now at highway checkpoints from Dallas to Los Angeles, from Chicago to Boston. 203,000 people searched without warrants on the streets of New York the first 3 months of this year. Source of that, New York Times yesterday. It's on. Full acclamation. Checkpoints on highways, Marines, Army checkpoints, private contractor checkpoints. Private contractors now calling themselves District 23 in Tennessee. We got a call about that. I confirmed it through my sources in the state police up there. They're just told, these are contractors. They can do what they want, or you'll be fired if you don't go along with this. It's all totally illegal. I just read to you DHS documents where they announced they're taking your children's DNA at school and telling them not to tell you without warrants. It's on. You read the headline, it's DHS considers it, and then goes on to admit they are. Since 2010, it shows the documents. And I read you articles last week where in Texas and California, they're taking DNA from elementary students without telling parents. They take your blood at birth. I told you that 15 years ago, declassified 3 years ago, put in a global database. It's on. It's real. It's here. But the reason my guest info is so important is that